Hey, race fans, welcome in to a Throwback Prevo. We have it in honor of Throwback Weekend. We're heading to Darlington this weekend, so we're out in front of the R&D Center, and we have in the back seat for Backseat Drivers, we have our driver, Ryan Blaney, over there, who's going to offer some better opinions than probably what we have. Myself and Jonathan Merriman here. Did you know that this bus is just as old as you are?
31 years old. 88 was a good year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old does that make you feel?
As old as a bus?
This bus looks a little bit better than you do. But
No, I
That's
appreciate
true.
it. Well,
That's true. A little more
it
decorated.
hasn't gotten any bigger. I have.
Well, Ryan,
yeah.
thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on.
You guys had glass case in here, too.
On this bus, we had it yesterday, but glass case doesn't come out till tomorrow. So it's crazy.
Well, time travel.
The power of TV.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we are on this bus because of Throwback Weekend. So we have on some throwback shirts. Ryan, you don't have on a throwback shirt, which I kind of expected a little more from you.
Well, no. Yeah.
Your throwback tee game is pretty strong.
I got my Waltrip hat on.
That's true. Your paint scheme.
Yeah, I didn't have I didn't think I had a proper throwback shirt to wear on the show. You know, this is a big production, so I wanted to kind of be more official.
I can hear the sarcasm come on the side of the couch. All right, well, let's talk about this season just as a whole. Team Penske was basically all that we talked about at the start of the season. You guys rattled off 5 wins pretty early. Now Joe Gibbs has 12 wins on the season, and Jonathan kind of talked to me a little bit about this. I'm going to make him be the bad guy. He says that y'all have lost a little footing to Joe Gibbs Racing.
Footing. How's that? What are you talking about, footing?
It's what you stand on.
I know.
Solid
I have
ground.
2 of them.
Oh, do you? My point was, we've seen Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin, he's outrunning Kyle Busch, who a lot of people think is the best driver in the series.
Right.
So, I guess my question is, you guys, all 3 cars seem like they were firing on 8 cylinders every single weekend through the beginning of the year. Summer stretch, things kind of tamed off a little bit. What do you guys have to do to get back there? And do you view it as maybe that Gibbs has a little bit of a leg up right now, or are you guys just waiting for the right time, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, all this sport just kind of goes in cycles. It goes in cycles of teams being dominant, and then other teams find little things, and by the time teams can catch up, and I think that's kind of how it was with us. In the beginning of the year, the first 10 races or so, we were super strong. I still think we're really strong. Just, things haven't worked out for all 3 of our cars, I'd even say. I feel like maybe Gibbs has a little bit more speed than us, especially the 11's shown a lot of speed the last, month and a half. They've kind of really, I think, kind of emerged as the favorites. I mean, I think anyone would kind of agree with you how great they've been. But really, that whole organization has been really good recently. And, I think kind of things can change come playoffs, kind of the playoffs start. You'll really see teams kind of bring out their playoff race cars and kind of things they've had put on the shelf. You hope you have things put on the shelf that you can throw in the car that is going to make you fast or just increase. But, I say we have a little bit of catch-up to do to the Gibbs cars right now.
Does it feel like last year? Because, I mean, if you take Joey, for example, he came out fairly quick, won pretty early last year. He ends up winning the title.
Brad hit that heat streak.
Brad was on the heater
from
Darlington through Vegas. Yeah. So, I mean, do you pay attention to that, or? Not
really. I wouldn't say those are like trends.
Don't forget about his Roval win either. Instead of
he's mad at me about the Roval too after Sonoma.
Yeah, he called me
you can be mad
whatever.
We'll get there.
Ran 5th with Glenn too this year. It's whatever. I'm a terrible road course racer from Merriman. So, no, hot streaks happen. Teams, it's like that cycle I talk about. Certain cars and teams get on these hot streaks, and like I said, the 11's on it right now. The 2 car got on it right before the playoffs last year. It's just things come together, and that's a combination of fast cars and things just kind of going your way at that given time. So I don't really look at those as trends. Any team can jump up and start doing that at any point. It's just a matter of kind of finding that.
How bad did you want that win at Bristol? I know that's one of your favorites.
It is.
You always have a strong car there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite track races. That night race there is something I look forward to every single year. I loved watching it as a kid. Loved watching my dad run there.
Did you sing? I know Aaron sang.
I sang at MRO. Yeah, I watch up every year and see all the kids sing, and I remember being one of those kids. So that part was pretty neat. Maybe my nephew will start singing here in a couple years when he can talk. I don't know when kids start talking, but or able to sing nonetheless. But that was neat to watch that and neat to be a part of that. But, we definitely wanted to win that one. We got tore up there. But, yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's up there.
We give you a hard time. We've said it a lot on the show. I'm also going to blame him again. But we think you're too nice to your teammates. I'm just going to lay it out there.
Too nice to my teammates? I got called too nice in general for a while. And then I spin Jimmy out, and people are like, well, why the hell did you spin Jimmy out? I'm like, well, he thought I was too nice. And so what do you want me to be?
No,
I don't know what you want me to be.
So how do you balance that, right? I mean, obviously, Roger Penske has an expectation for his three guys to not take each other out. But Martinsville sticks out in my mind. I think, I don't want to say Joey cleared himself and cut himself in line in front of you, but clearly I don't think you were trying to give him the spot. So how do you play that? I mean, obviously you don't want to wreck your teammate because you don't want to make Roger Penske mad, but then how do you assert yourself as, look, I've got to get mine, you've got yours? Yeah,
I mean, that's a tricky situation, because at the end of the day, everyone's competitors. You're trying to beat everybody just as much as the next guy, whether teammate or not. But at the same time, you don't want to wad your teammate up, but at the same time also, you need to get respect from everybody, So that's a kind of a tricky situation.
The week that you won Radio Sweetheart, I think, was the week that you said, I'm tired of being nice.
Yeah.
Which we liked.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing. That's a tricky situation. And like you said, I mean, RP's always given us a rule of, if we're running 1-2, there's no team orders as long as we finish 1-2, no matter what order. But you're not going to finish 39th and 40th, So that's kind of just what he's always told us. So, we have a green light to race each other really hard. And we do. Myself, Brad, and Joey and Paul, we race each other really hard. But, yeah, you have to know kind of the limitations.
So we have 2 races before the playoffs. So we have Darlington and then Indy. We've constantly talked about the playoff bubble and how the pressure of those guys, they have to be feeling it. So for guys like Clint Boyer and Daniel Suarez, do you kind of see them and know that they're willing to push the limits when you're around them on the track?
Yeah. I mean, when it gets down to 2-3 races left, especially, the last couple or one, and it's that tight, I think they're like 2 points separated, and there's like 4 guys within like 20
Ryan
points
Newman's
or something like that.
Squeak in there.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's going to get in?
Did I predict that last week? I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
We're worried about Jimmy.
Yeah, you're worried about Jimmy?
Yeah.
Who's your last guy in, Suarez or Boyer?
I think Suarez.
You don't think there's going to be a surprise
Clint.
winner?
No.
You don't think Matty D can go and win him a race?
I think Mike Wheeler is good enough at Darlington with his experience with Denny, but I don't think the 95 is going to win a race. They could win the Roval.
Yeah, they could.
They could.
But that doesn't matter.
I forget what you asked.
I mean, it does matter. But, he has to win either this weekend or next weekend.
It's not going to happen.
No?
Nope.
Yeah. It was a shame. I was looking forward to him winning the Bristol race. That would have been kind of cool. But I forget what you asked. Do I look at those playoff guys?
Yeah.
You know how close they are, and they're obviously going to get – and even the guys that aren't only a couple points in or out, the guys that are further back, they're going to get even more aggressive than those guys, I think, as far as, strategy stuff. And Darlington, it's kind of tough to do the strategy thing because tires matter so much. But Indy, I think I could see a lot of things getting flip-flopped as far as, cars running up front, people staying out, and then you get cycled to the back. I can see that happening there. But, yeah, you notice where they are, and you try to be as courteous as you can to them, but at the same time, you're not just going to roll over for those guys.
Yeah, but do you keep in your mind what's on the line for them? And, those guys are going to have to take chances to get a win or point their way in. I mean, do you keep that in your mind? Hey, he's going to race him hard. Something could happen here. I need to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know what those guys are going for, obviously. It's have a chance for a championship. But at the end of the day, it's not my problem that they – you have 34 races or 24 races to get yourself in a good spot. If it's not my issue, it's not my problem. So I'm gonna still race you hard, no matter what. I mean, I want that spot too. So
then you can go get beer with them afterwards, right?
Yeah, maybe. Depends.
I promised him I wasn't gonna bring it up, but okay.
That happened like a month ago.
I know. We're still talking about it. You know that we like to carry things
about
out.
It at Bristol.
She is not me. I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
You kind of brought it up.
I mean,
you talked about knowing what's on the line and racing them harder.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, if I see Suarez and Boyer going back and forth and Jimmy sitting right there, I don't think I would.
Yeah, if you see those guys, like if those are 3 guys ahead of you and they're racing hard, yeah. I mean, you know what? Those guys are going to race each other extremely hard. I mean, that's something you're going to be – the camera's going to be on watching if those guys are ever around each other for sure. Just as, that's just what they're going for, especially the 14 and 41.
I'm pretty positive that you're mathematically locked into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we are.
Yeah, math is not my strong suit. But
No, I didn't go to college.
the aggression once the playoffs starts. How is the mentality different once you get into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, I don't really look at the points during the year, but when the playoffs start, you do. You know, I feel like you look at those a little bit
Are you worried
more.
about the guys that you're racing, say, cut off for the next race? Are you asking, like, where is the 48 running? Where is the 12 running? Where is 22? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, let's say at the Roval last year when it was close between, like, me, the 88 and 14, when it kind of, throughout that race, I never really asked. My team kind of kept me updated on, okay, how many points to the good are we, or, 5 points to the good, or something like that, just so you kind of know, and stuff like that. But yeah, when those cutoffs races come, and even after the first race, you see, okay, am I in by this much? Am I out by this much? You just always kind of look at that stuff just to see. It'd be great to just go win Vegas, then you don't have to worry about it. If you win the first race of each round, that makes it the best. Would make it the best ever. So.
Where's your next win coming?
Hopefully at Darlington. I mean, where else would you expect me to say?
I mean, realistically, what is the best chance of a win for you this year?
Nowhere, apparently. She's just condescending me. I can't believe I come on this show, and you guys just give me crap the whole time. This is what you do?
I don't think you expected to win the Roval, did you?
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, maybe
ask
you win
any
the
driver,
Roval
they
again.
expect to win every weekend. That's what every person does.
But you don't have tracks that you look at that you're like, I'm just terrible at this track?
Yeah, Richmond, but I expect to go win it. I mean, you if you're going into the
You're
racetrack,
such an athlete.
if you're going into the racetrack and you're like, man, I think we're going to run like 15th this weekend, yeah, you're kind of screwed. Can I say that on here?
Yeah.
You're kind of, you're just already beating yourself before the game, pretty much. I mean, you have to have a positive outlook on things. You have to be optimistic. A good barrier between optimistic and cocky. You kind of have to have decent amount of confidence going in, believing in everything.
Where does the mental game stack up in this? I mean, obviously you have to believe you're going to win. You have to be competitive. But you also have to be, I guess, realistic to a point to where when one little thing goes wrong, everything doesn't fall apart. So in terms of the mental game, where are you at with that, and what's your approach to, if something goes wrong in a race, what's your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, especially when you get down to, you only got 3 races to make it in. It's not like we're going on a 10-race streak where you maybe have one bad race. Like, all right, we got 6 races left to try to make it up. Here, something happens to you first race and you're behind the 8 ball already. It's stressful. It's really stressful. And, when little things go on, just because there's no room for error in the playoffs, just because you have no time to make them back up. And it's really hard to make up, all the points if you lose some. So it does get very stressful. But if, things do happen, it's really important to try to overcome the best you can and not lose your head. Like I said, it's easy to do in the playoffs because everything's so tight, and, only 3 races to get through it is it's really hard, especially as you progress later in the rounds. The competition just gets tougher, right? I mean, if you can make it to the round 8, really good, 7 really good cars that you're racing against, and it does get more stressful as the rounds go on. So.
Okay, well, this weekend we're heading to Darlington, South Carolina, which is one of my favorite weekends of the year. I think you have a little bit more of an appreciation for the throwback era of NASCAR. You're constantly rocking. Did you have the briefcase last year? Weren't you walking around with a briefcase?
Briefcase, no.
You didn't have a briefcase? You had something that you were carrying around last year at Darlington. I'll find the picture. We'll pull it up, and I can prove you wrong on here. But
oh no, I had a tablet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's just my lap time tablet.
No.
That's like anti-throwback.
No, you had something that was old school, because I remember the picture. You have the stash and the mullet going on a little bit.
Last year?
Yeah.
I had no stash.
It was a chalkboard.
2 years ago, did you have a stash?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago I had a stash, and that was a tablet I was carrying with me too.
But it was old. No, there
No,
was
it was a
something
tablet.
old school.
I know the picture you're talking
All right,
about.
well,
This is a
you're
leather-bound
proving me
book.
wrong.
Yeah.
So talk about this weekend just as drivers and the fun that you guys get to have with
Yeah.
the throwback paint schemes and all that good
No,
stuff.
it's cool. They started this in 16, right? 16,
Yep.
something like that, and we've been able to be a part of it every year and gotten to run some really cool paint schemes from Pearson to Calipetti. I got to run my dad's last year. This year we have Waltrip's, Pennzoil car, and I just like to see all the other cars too, and you get to the racetrack, and I really wish that no one would announce their cars until
Agreed.
until you see them at the racetrack. And you're like,
Agreed.
oh, man, what did everyone do? Some teams don't do that, which is good. But, yeah, there's some cars that, maybe you're a great fan of that driver as a kid or you just like that car. And I know that some of the Haas guys, I think Almirola and Suarez are doing old Tony cars. Like, I think that's just really cool because I was a big Tony Stewart fan. So, yeah, some of them kind of hit home for you, throughout the years. And no matter what decade it is from, 60s on, it's just really neat. The Glenwood car the Wood Brothers are doing this year is really cool. I got to see it in the shop today. So, yeah, just all sorts of things. But it's super fun. Not only the cars, but some of the crews dress up. All the old fire suits that people have. The fans get into it. I just think that's really cool, the participation in it.
What's your favorite all-time paint scheme? Not just
All
throwback,
time?
but all-time.
That's really hard. There's a lot of cool schemes out there. One that stands out was, you remember Jeff Burton's X-Side car?
Yeah.
That lightning bolt
The
car?
Lightning, yep.
I just thought that was a cool car. He ran it sometime in the Cup Series and in the Busch Series, I guess, back then. But, yeah, I thought just that X-Side car was kind of cool. I know that's not very old, but
No, it's still
something
throwback.
about that one was really neat to me.
How'd you feel about William Byron's reveal? I think he won the reveal this year.
I thought it was pretty cool how they made videos about it.
Chad Ganouse's southern accent was the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, who's y'all's favorite this year that you've seen?
I think Briscoe's is pretty sweet on the Xfinity side.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
Gotta
I
go
saw that
Cup.
yesterday.
Why do you have to go, Cup?
I mean,
There are no rules. Here's the internet.
I like Kyle Busch's Snickers.
Snickers is pretty good.
Snickers is good.
I also like Willie B's.
Yeah.
I always think Brad has a good paint scheme too.
What's
He's
his?
got old rusty car.
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
old Miller Lite schemes are
That's
super
right.
Yeah.
good. His last year I thought was
Black with the gold.
really, really
Yeah, it
good.
was really
Yeah. Logano's scheme is pretty neat this year. It hasn't been released yet.
Okay, well, you can't do that to us.
Well, I've got to. It's
He's
building
got a
suspense.
hype man.
I like Bubba's car's cool. Old Adam Petty car.
Adam
I
Petty
thought
car.
that was really
Mhm.
neat.
Well, the T-shirts that they did with it
Yeah.
are also like era correct. So,
Yeah. There's a lot of neat ones. I can't wait to see them all in person.
well, the 13 always does the Smokey Unic throwback. I don't know what they're doing this year, but
I haven't seen it.
the Smokey Unic throwback
I have no idea.
over years past were pretty cool.
LaJoya has the Scooby-Doo throwback.
Well, that's at Martinsville.
Mystery.
Martinsville.
Oh, I thought it was
I
for
don't
this
think
weekend.
so. No, he's doing a Dale Jarrett Nestle Crunch scheme
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but I mean it's still cool. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Scooby Doo's cool.
I thought Scooby-Doo thing was cool.
Mystery van. It looks just like it
Mystery
in car
Machine.
form. Mystery machine.
Yeah.
Mystery van. All the
Get your facts right.
all the stuff. Okay, so what's going on with the facial hair this weekend? Are you allowed to do anything?
No, I'm gonna shave.
Clean?
Probably like Thursday.
I've been trying to talk Merriman into doing a mullet, and he won't do it.
Well, it takes so long to grow those locks out, man.
I know.
You can't get rid of that. I mean, that's a lot to ask for.
He asked earlier if he should do a mustache, and I said absolutely.
You do a pretty cool mustache.
You think I should handlebar it or just cut it off at the lip?
Just cut off of the lip.
I don't like how you're
yeah.
staring at my face.
Yeah, I was staring at your mouth. Yeah, that was a little awkward, but I think you could do like a little tiny like handlebar. Don't do a big
Yeah, not the big one.
Harley one,
Yeah.
but a little tiny, something to grab onto. You know. No, I'm shaving
We're
this
getting
weekend.
Vasquez.
So, yeah.
It's going here.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Michael about your paint scheme this weekend? What's he think of it?
Yeah, I talked to Michael a little bit about it, and he likes it. I mean, it's cool. He ran it for 3 years, I think, 3 or 4 years, and yeah, he's pretty excited about it. I'm excited to have him see it. I'm sure we get a photo by the car, and that's just it's just neat, and it's cool that sponsors let you do it. You know, you kind of change your whole car up for them, and it's nice that they are getting on board. But yeah, Michael, it's cool to pay homage to him.
What's the attitude in the garage of like guys who don't show up with a throwback? I mean,
They stink.
I feel like fans are a little bit disappointed. So you don't want to be the only guy at the costume party with no costume.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that would be disappointing for sure. I'm running the Xfinity car, and we don't have a throwback on that car. It's a body armor car, so they're not really throwback. They were invented in like
you
2011.
can talk Kobe into that one?
What are we gonna do? Make it like old Laker colors?
Yes.
No. I'm not a Laker fan.
Absolutely. So?
No. So I'm that lame person you're talking about in the Xfinity race.
You could
Sorry.
probably get away with like an old Sitco scheme or something like that with
Yeah.
with the colors, but
Yeah, but I don't know. We don't talk about that place. in our building. Jonathan.
What about your crew? What's your crew doing? Crews, that's one of my favorite parts. You guys, the paint schemes are really cool, and what the drivers do is always really cool. But the crews get really into it.
They do. You know, you see, it's kind of like half and half. Like half the crews, they all get outfits from back then. You know, when we did the Pearson scheme in 16, you know, we all wore white, like just what they wore back then. You know, back in what year was that one? Oh, that was 76 when he did the Triple Crown. So that was just all white and a little red stripe down it, and they all wore white Chuck Taylors, low cut.
So cool.
And I thought that was cool, you know, and yeah, a lot of teams get into it. And the facial hair stuff is neat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they modeled your whole fire suit and everything for one of those years was, you know, almost plain white with just the stripes down the front, right?
That's literally what he just said.
Well, I'm talking about all year, not just Darlington. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So when we did that in 16, that's what we based my next year fire suit on too, because I was like, man, that was a cool fire suit. So we kind of carried it over.
I like it because you can tell who in the garage is working, and you can tell, like, your suit gets super dirty after that race, and all the team uniforms are, like, grease-soaked and just dirty and nasty. I mean, it looks like 500 miles at Darlington is what that stuff went through, so it's awesome.
Yeah, white suits are cool to see the after effects of races, you know, if they're really dirty. And they look really nice when they're clean. But when I had the white suit, it was all pretty much white, just the stripes there. And you can't sit down on nothing. You get a black butt. Like, that's just not, like, you're just constantly worried about just getting filthy, which is not a bad thing. But, like, he wants to walk around with just dirt all over him all day. It's just not
Heaven
fun.
forbid.
But the white suits look good.
All right, well, we're going to play green flag or caution. We always play it on the show. Always. It's kind of like a three-week development. Yeah, you're almost done. So if you agree with the statement that I make, you throw out a green flag.
Okay.
You can say your reasoning for or against. If you disagree with the statement, you throw out a caution.
Okay.
All right. So Jonathan Merriman has better hair than Ryan Blaney.
It's a
green flag or caution?
Big green flag. No explanation needed.
I think green flag as well.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Yeah.
I'll give you a locket full of it.
I think you got good hair, man. Yeah. It's a little bit straighter than mine, but it curls at the bottom, too.
It's taken you a long time to grow it out, though.
Well,
he gets
31, I'm as old
haircuts,
as
and then
his
it's
bus.
like 2 weeks later, and they're down to his shoulders.
Yeah.
Do you ever get worried about the helmet hair, the hair loss up top?
Hasn't happened yet, so.
Yeah.
People tell me.
You can get that from wearing a hat a lot, too.
That's a myth.
That is a myth.
know,
Only
guys.
where it
seen
touches
golf
your
players?
head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I haven't really worried about that. If it does, I'll just get hair plugs or something. I don't know.
There you go.
All right, next one.
Rogaine, Just for Men, all that stuff.
Throwback weekend. Both of you guys are going to be, I'm just going to put you two against each other the whole entire time. Who looks better this weekend? Let's go. Ryan Blaney looks better than Jonathan Merriman for Throwback weekend.
Oh, him. I don't
Green
have
flag or
anything.
caution?
That's a caution. Oh, that's a green flag. He's going to look better, except his hair.
You're not going to you're not going to wear any throwback gear?
I don't have anything. I got two T-shirts, and I got a belt buckle I wear all the time. But
Yeah. You got that Earnhart belt buckle, don't you? That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that one, actually.
He had to pull his shirt up this morning on the preview show to make sure that they got the belt buckle in the shot.
Did you tuck the front in?
I
the
just rolled it.
little
I rolled
French
it
tuck.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Final. Let's do two more. Let's do a surprise winner wins either Darlington or Indy and gets into the playoffs.
So someone who's outside looking in.
Correct.
Can we give our best shot of that?
Sure.
Yeah. Who do you think outside the top 16 can win and get in the playoffs?
I think out of everybody, I think Chris Buescher probably has run better than almost anybody.
Over Matty D.
Over Jimmy Johnson.
But Jimmy Johnson can point his way in.
Oh, I didn't think about
So he can point his way
Oh,
in.
so you're saying anybody?
No. I'm not talking about pointing their way in. I'm saying, like, who can come and get to victory lane and automatically lock themselves into the playoffs. And that's
Who's
on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with 37.
That's a bold pick.
You're not going with Jimmy Johnson and Indy.
No. I think William Byron's going to win Indy.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he won there an Xfinity car that's really similar to the Cup package. He's got Chad Knaus, who's won, I don't know, too many Indy races that I can count. So.
Okay, I'll say either Matt or Jimmy.
But Paul could do it too, though.
Paul could win.
Paul could win.
I mean, they run well.
He's won an Indy before.
He has won Indy before.
If he took the Wood brothers to victory lane at Indy,
that'd be pretty great.
yeah, win 100
for 100. Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Storybook.
Yeah. So.
All right, final green flag or caution. Clint Boyer and Daniel Suarez both get into the playoffs.
It's a big fat yellow.
Which one do you think won't make it?
I don't think Clint's going to make it.
You don't think so?
I think, and that's not saying anything about Clint's talent. I just think you got the bug, you got the bug.
Yeah.
Allgaier's got the bug right now. Xfinity Series,
Yeah,
he
he
can't do
does.
anything right. I think Clint's in the same boat.
I would go caution, and I don't think Daniel will make it.
So you have the 14 over the 41.
Yeah.
Being around Clint Boyer, I noticed a little bit of frustration in Bristol. Has he been? Have you noticed a little?
I'm sure he's been upset. I mean, he's been things have not been going their way at all. Like you said, when you got the bug, you got the bug, and just nothing goes right for you.
All right, and lastly, we can't talk about Darlington
Right.
without talking about, obviously, your love for Throwback Broncos. And your foundation's doing something pretty cool with the Bronco on Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, we just got done building. We rebuilt a '74 Bronco, and with this company called Gateway Bronco out of St. Louis. And I've seen pictures of it, but we're finally unveiling it this weekend. And I think I'm doing some ride-alongs and things like that. It will be at the Ford display this weekend, all weekend, as well as my mother and sister will be out there. Work for my foundation, kind of, talking about what we do, our association with the Alzheimer's Association, and just things like that. So, yeah, actually my first time seeing it in person. So I'm really excited to.
Pictures looked cool.
Yeah, I thought it turned out great, and I can't wait to actually get an up-close look at it. I think I'm doing a video on it, like a 10-minute video on it, sometime this weekend. So it should be great. I'm excited for that thing to finally come about. And in January of 2020, it'll be auctioned off in Scottsdale at Barrett-Jackson. So I'm excited for that, to kind of see what it does and what good we can do.
Cool.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. The Prevost here is going to drive from here to Darlington. So if you need a ride, you're welcome to just sleep on the couch. And
I think this is a beautiful bus, 88, but I think
Air conditioning
I'm
works.
actually going to drive my Bronco in, my 85 to Darlington.
Park it in the garage.
It's at the bus. Park it in the bus.
Bring it in
Maybe
the
park
garage.
the other one, park my other Bronco next to it. Be great. Well, it's not my Bronco, but my foundation's Bronco.
All right. Well, we're heading to Darlington, South Carolina for a NASCAR Throwback weekend. It's sure to be a fun one. You can catch Ryan Blaney there in the 12 and see if he can make it to victory lane out in Darlington. We'll see you guys right back here next time on Backseat Drivers.